Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Homeland Security. A Pakistani man is caught lying to the FBI at the border while new waves of Cuban immigrants are coming into the country. And Trump was right. At least 9 American members of ISIS were immigrants to the United States. And get this, a new report says 22% of Middle Eastern refugees in Minnesota have tested positive for tuberculosis. As we continue our national suicide, that doesn't shock me at all. And now we're going to speed up the vetting process from 18 to 24 months to 3 months to just hurry and rush these people into the country. This is suicide by choice.
You're talking about an America today that is totally different from America 25 years ago. It's certainly different from America 50 years ago. And part of that is...
It went from Ozzie and Harriet to Ozzy Osbourne in one generation.
That's probably very well put. You know what's... We've lost nationalism and patriotism. There used to be a matter of pride to be an American. I remember when I was a kid in Germany, we got the approval to go to the United States, and I got myself a little American flag, and I pinned it proudly on my chest. I immediately made a new connection from Nazism to Americanism. I said, "Ich bin ein Amerikaner." I told everybody with my chest pushed out, I'm an American. And I felt that was the greatest thing you could say. And made in the USA was the greatest label ever put on any product.
And you know, I know my grandchildren are being taught in schools stuff that I wouldn't teach them. I constantly tell them, you are in the luckiest top 1% of the entire population ever born because you were born in America.
It's true.
And they're teaching you that this is nothing special, that there's nothing wonderful. That's the biggest crock I've ever heard in my life. You are so special to be born an American. It's unbelievable.
But it's a deliberate attempt by many professors. I won't say most. I don't know. I don't have any support to prove that are against the United States. They are treasonous in the sense that they want to bring America down, not even only to the level, but below the level of the world. They want this to be a socio-communist kind of country.
So we're bringing in these refugees, not really vetting them. You can't vet them.
How can you?
They don't have any paperwork. They don't have any backgrounds. They don't have Pakistan, Indonesia. And 22% are testing positive for things that we wiped out decades ago. And now we're reintroducing them to the American people.
You know, it's just amazing when I think...
Hail diversity.
No, we're going to get to this just a little later, but when my mother and my brother and my father had gone to Cuba already through the connection with the governor of New York, which I've mentioned in a previous show, but we needed 3 affidavits from people that put their name on the line that if we couldn't support ourselves in the United States, their money would be taken from them in order to support us. So it was...
Do you know how that would be treated today if you even mentioned that? As bringing that up as something to do today?
They think the most horrible, inhuman situation anybody could ever impose on another human being.
Yeah, there's no checks and balances whatsoever. It's just fly by the seat of your pants.
Oh, absolutely. I guess we still are planning to talk about the McCarran-Walter Act, but there was very definite restrictions put on immigration into this country until not too many years ago.
And like we've said on previous shows, back in the 50s or before that, when we had 100 million people or 150, it was a good idea to try and bring people in. We're at 330, 340, and 95 million of them are not working. So it's time to put a kibosh on all of it, if you ask me. Not only the fact that we have a wide open southern border.
Well, the point is there is no plan. Just open the door and let anybody come in. And the point is, if they have been convicted of murder, rape, whatever, and they come back in the second time or the third or the fourth time, you know, this incident in San Francisco where that young lady was killed by a guy
Kate Steinle.
And
San Francisco just approved expanding their sanctuary city policy.
It's a sanctuary city. It's People's Republic of California.
So maybe we need a sanctuary state for people who have common sense to go. We could all be together and we could let all the other loony kooks do what they're going to do when they want to do it.
I don't think that would be workable, but the point is we are now in a situation I don't think I have ever seen in my long term on this earth. I've seen anything that is disorganized and as unproductive from a standpoint of humanism as we have here in this country today.
How about disastrous?
Well,
Is that taking it too far?
Well, it depends on what you say disaster. If you mean, are we breaking this country down to a point where we won't come back, then that term is applicable.
So the fact that Texas would even be talking and voting on seceding from the United States shows you the perilous
By the way,
that we're in.
You're making a very good point, because that's part of the reason that Texas joined the United States. It was an independent country. The Republic of Texas, which fought its way to freedom from Mexico. Remember the Alamo, this whole bit was that, yes, we would become the Lone Star State, we would join the United States, but we would reserve the right to vote back our independence if we wanted to do so. And that's part of their basic joining the United States.
And if that were to ever happen, that would be a disaster for the Republican Party.
Well, I mean,
It's already on the way to turning it purple and possibly blue the way it is now.
Yeah, but you're right. Well, it's the only really populous state in the country that the Republican Party can depend on.
So if Texas did secede, you would probably see 100 million patriots pack up and move to Texas tomorrow.
By the way, you know who the one president was that probably saved the Republican Party in the last century?
Reagan?
Johnson. Because if Johnson hadn't pushed civil rights, and I'm not saying this critically in any way, I'm just saying if Johnson had not...
But you said Republican president.
Yes, I make my point. The Southeast, including, and the Southwest, including Texas, were Democrat. Totally Democrat. Now just imagine if this still existed today, the Republican Party wouldn't stand a chance.
But if you go back that far, the whole Northeast was dominated by Republicans. So there was a flip that kind of happened.
No, not quite. I mean, there was, I think, half and half. I don't recall, New York was always Democrat. Connecticut, Massachusetts was pretty much always Democrat. So what you would have had, and the balance, the balancing was the Midwest was pretty much Republican.
And California used to have a lot of Republicans.
Well, yes, and California.
You go back to
Wilson. Wilson did more to harm the Republican Party than anybody else I can think of, and he's the guy that now is screaming against Trump. You know, Governor Wilson.
Yeah.
So things happen because they happen.